My girlfriend hid a secret that changed everything, so I exposed the one she feared most. It started with a text message at 11:47 on a Tuesday night. I was half asleep, sprawled on the couch in my apartment in Richmond, Virginia, watching some documentary about deep-sea creatures that I wasn't really paying attention to. My girlfriend Lauren was supposedly at her parents' place in Short Pump for the evening. Her mom hadn't been feeling well, and Lauren said she wanted to spend the night there to help out. I thought nothing of it. We'd been together for 2 years, lived together for 8 months, and I trusted her completely. The text wasn't from Lauren. It was from a number I didn't recognize. Area code 804, local but not saved in my phone. The message just said, "You should ask Lauren about her brother." I stared at it for a solid minute, blinking. My first thought was that it was a wrong number, or some spam thing. But the way it was phrased, her brother, made my stomach tighten. Lauren didn't have a brother. She had a younger sister, Megan, who lived in Norfolk, and her parents, Carol and Tom. That was it. In 2 years, I had never once heard her mention a brother. Not an ex-stepbrother, not a half-brother, not a cousin she called a brother, nothing. I texted back, "Who is this?" 3 dots appeared, then stopped, then appeared again, then nothing. 5 minutes passed. 10. I called the number. Straight to voicemail. A generic automated recording, not even a name. I tried to go back to my documentary, but my brain wouldn't shut up. I started running through every conversation I'd ever had with Lauren about her family. Christmas at her parents' house. Her dad's barbecue birthdays. The time her mom showed me the old photo albums from when Lauren was a kid. I'd seen baby pictures, school pictures, soccer team pictures. Always her and Megan, never another face. So either this was someone messing with me, or I'd been missing something huge. I didn't text Lauren. I told myself it was late and I didn't want to bother her if she was dealing with her mom. But really, I think I was scared of sounding paranoid. What was I supposed to say? "Hey, a random anonymous texter told me you have a secret brother. What's up with that?" That's how you sound like a crazy person. I barely slept. The next morning, I was sitting at our kitchen counter with coffee, and Lauren came home around 9. She looked tired but normal. Jeans, a Virginia Tech hoodie, her hair in a messy bun. She kissed the top of my head and said her mom was feeling a little better. I asked if she wanted breakfast. She said no, she just wanted to shower, and then she did something weird. Her phone was on the counter, screen up. She picked it up, swiped something, and put it in her pocket before she walked to the bathroom. That's not weird on its own, except that she never does that. Lauren leaves her phone everywhere. On the couch, in the kitchen, on the nightstand. She's not secretive about it. But that morning, she took it with her into the bathroom. And she never does that. I sat there for another hour thinking about the text. I decided I wasn't going to ask her directly. Not yet. I was going to do some digging first. Which feels gross to even type, because I'm not that guy. I hate snooping. But that text had planted something in my head, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Later that afternoon, Lauren went to Target to pick up a prescription. She said she'd be an hour. I had the apartment to myself. I knew her laptop password. It's her dog's birthday. She's told me 100 times. I told myself I was just going to look for anything about a brother. Old photos, an email, a Facebook message, something. I opened her laptop. Checked her photos folder. Nothing unusual. Lots of pictures of us, her family, her friends, her dog, food she'd cooked. I went to her email and typed brother into the search bar. Nothing. I tried David. That was the name the texter had used when I asked who it was. No, wait, the texter never gave a name. I just made that up in my head. The texter didn't respond at all after the initial message. Then I went to her Facebook messages. And that's where I found it. There was a conversation from 3 years ago, before Lauren and I even met, between her and a woman named Sarah. The last message from Sarah said, "You can't just pretend he doesn't exist, Lauren. He's your brother. He's been asking about you." Mom won't say it, but she's heartbroken. Lauren's response, "He's not my brother. Not anymore. He made his choice. Tell him to stay away from me and my family." Then Sarah, "You know why he did it. You know what they did to him. I'm not saying it was right, but you're acting like he's a monster and he's not." And that was it. The conversation ended there. No more replies from Lauren. I sat there staring at those words. You know why he did it? You know what they did to him? What did who do to him? Who was they? My mind went to dark places. Abuse? Crime? Something involving Lauren's parents? The word monster was in there, but Sarah said he wasn't one. So what was he? I heard keys in the door. I closed the laptop so fast I nearly cracked the screen. Lauren walked in with 2 Target bags and a Starbucks drink for me. She smiled. I smiled back. And for the rest of the day, I acted like nothing was wrong, but I couldn't let it go. Over the next 3 days, I tried to find anything else. I searched Lauren's old Instagram posts. Nothing. I looked up her parents online. Her dad, Tom, had a LinkedIn with a very boring work history. Her mom, Carol, had no social media presence at all. I searched for Lauren last name brother and got nothing. I tried searching for her mom's maiden name. Nothing. Then I remembered the number that texted me. I messaged it again. Who are you? Please, I'm not trying to cause problems. I just want to understand. This time they responded. His name is Kyle. He's 5 years older than Lauren. He lives in Roanoke. Your girlfriend hasn't spoken to him in 7 years. Ask her why. I felt sick. 7 years. That meant Lauren was around 20 when she cut contact. Which meant Megan was probably a teenager. I did the math in my head. I didn't know what to do with any of it. I decided to confront her. Not aggressively. Just honestly. That night we were sitting on the balcony. It was October, so Richmond was finally cooling down. The leaves were changing along the James River, and you could smell wood smoke from someone's fireplace. Lauren was drinking tea. I was nursing a beer, and I just said it. Hey, can I ask you something kind of random? She looked at me over her mug. Sure. Do you have a brother? The change in her face was instant. It wasn't shock. It was fear. Actual, pure fear, like I'd just said something that made the world tilt under her feet. She set her tea down carefully, like she was afraid of breaking the mug. Her hands were shaking. Why are you asking me that? Her voice was quiet. Too quiet. I told her about the text. I told her I didn't know who sent it, but someone had reached out and told me to ask about her brother. I didn't mention the Facebook messages. I didn't want her to feel like I'd invaded her privacy. Not yet. She was quiet for a long time. Then she started crying. Not sobbing, but tears running down her face. Her jaw tight like she was trying to hold something back. I don't have a brother, she said. Lauren. I don't, she said louder. I had a brother. Past tense. I don't have one now. I asked what happened. She wouldn't tell me. She said it was complicated, that it had nothing to do with me, that I had to drop it. When I pushed, she got up and went inside. She slept on the couch that night. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. But she was distant, colder, like I'd broken something between us. I should have let it go. I know that's what a good boyfriend would have done. But the mystery was eating me alive. And the more she refused to talk, the more I became convinced that whatever happened involved something worse than just a family falling out. So I did what any idiot with internet access would do. I found him. It wasn't hard. The texter gave me a name and a city. I found a Kyle with the same last name as Lauren's mom's maiden name living in Roanoke. He had a Facebook profile with very limited visibility, but I could see his profile picture. A guy in his early 30s, bearded, wearing a flannel shirt, standing next to a golden retriever. He looked tired. Not angry or scary. Just tired. I sent him a message. I said, "Hey, I'm dating your sister Lauren. I know you two aren't in touch, but I'm trying to understand what happened. Can you help me?" He responded within an hour. "Meet me in person. I'll tell you everything. But don't tell her you're coming. She'll try to stop you." I drove to Roanoke on a Saturday morning. Told Lauren I was going hiking with a friend near the Blue Ridge Parkway. She didn't ask questions. She'd been withdrawn for a week, barely talking to me, sleeping on the couch most nights. I think part of her already knew I was going to find out the truth, and she was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I met Kyle at a diner off I-81. He was waiting for me in a booth, drinking black coffee. He looked exactly like his picture. Worn down, a little sad, but friendly. We shook hands. He ordered pancakes. I ordered nothing. He didn't waste time. He said, "I'm going to tell you everything. And when I'm done, you can decide if you still want to be with her. But you need to know the truth." And then he told me. Kyle was 5 years older than Lauren. When he was 17 and Lauren was 12, their father, Tom, started sexually abusing him. It went on for 2 years. Kyle tried to tell their mom, Carol, but she didn't believe him. She said he was lying, that he was confused, that he was acting out. Tom denied everything, and Carol chose to believe her husband over her son. When Kyle was 19, he finally went to the police. He had no physical evidence. It was his word against his father's. The case went nowhere. But the accusation destroyed the family's reputation in their small town. Tom lost his job. Lauren and Megan were bullied at school. Carol blamed Kyle for tearing the family apart, and Lauren, 12-year-old Lauren, was told by her mother that Kyle was a liar, that he was sick in the head, that he was trying to ruin their father because he was angry about being grounded or some other bullshit excuse. Carol poisoned Lauren against her own brother. By the time Kyle was 20, Lauren had fully cut him off. She refused to see him, refused to talk to him, refused to even acknowledge he existed. She told her friends she was an only child. She told boyfriends the same thing. She buried him. Kyle showed me emails he'd sent to Lauren over the years. Birthday wishes. Pleased to just talk. Updates on his life. He'd become a welder, bought a house, adopted a dog. She never replied. Not once. He showed me a letter from a therapist he'd seen for years, documenting the abuse. He showed me a police report from 2012. He showed me a statement from a cousin who had witnessed some of Tom's behavior but had been too scared to come forward until years later. It was all real. Every horrible word. I sat there in that diner and I wanted to throw up. I thought about all the times I'd had dinner with Tom, the way he'd put his hand on my shoulder and call me son, the way he'd grill steaks in the backyard and laugh about his golf game, the way Lauren would hug him and tell him she loved him. She was hugging her abuser, her mother's abuser, and she had thrown away the one person who tried to stop him. I drove back to Richmond in a daze. I didn't know what I was going to do. I loved Lauren. I really did. But I couldn't unknow what I now knew. And I couldn't look at her the same way again. When I got home, she was waiting for me. She was sitting on the couch, arms crossed, face pale. "You went to see him, didn't you?" She said. I didn't lie. I said yes. She broke down. Not the quiet tears from before. Full, ugly, heaving sobs. She told me she knew. She'd always known. Her mom had told her the truth when Lauren turned 18, but by then, it had been 6 years. 6 years of believing her father was innocent. 6 years of hating Kyle. And when her mom finally admitted that Tom had confessed to her in private, that she'd known all along and had covered it up to protect the family, Lauren didn't know how to go back. She couldn't undo the years of silence. She couldn't face the guilt. So she just kept going. Kept pretending. Kept cutting Kyle out because it was easier than admitting she had abandoned the only person who ever tried to protect her. She told me she was ashamed. That she thought about Kyle every single day. That she'd almost reached out 100 times but couldn't bring herself to do it. That she was terrified of what her parents would say, of what Megan would think, of the family falling apart all over again. I listened to all of it. And when she was done, I said, "You need to call your brother." She said she couldn't. I said, "Then I can't stay." That was the hardest thing I've ever said to anyone. I meant it, though. I wasn't going to be with someone who knowingly let an innocent person rot in exile while protecting a child molester. I didn't care if she was a victim, too. She was an adult now. She had to make a choice. She called him that night. I sat next to her while she did it. Kyle answered on the second ring. He didn't say anything at first. And then Lauren, crying so hard she could barely speak, said, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I believe you. I always believed you." I was just too scared. He didn't yell. He didn't hang up. He just started crying too. And they stayed on the phone for 3 hours. The next day, Lauren went to her parents' house. I didn't go with her. She came back 2 hours later with 2 suitcases and her mom's wedding ring in a Ziploc bag. She said she told them everything. She told Carol she knew about the cover-up. She told Tom she knew what he'd done. She said her dad didn't deny it. He just sat there. And her mom tried to defend him, and Lauren told her she was dead to her. She moved out of her parents' name. She changed her number. She started seeing a therapist. And she drove to Roanoke the following weekend to see Kyle in person for the first time in 7 years. As for me, I'm still with her, for now. I told her I needed time. She understands. She's not the same person she was a month ago. But neither am I. And I don't know if love is enough to build back the trust that got broken, not just between us, but inside her. The texter never revealed who they were. I have my theories. Kyle thinks it was his ex-girlfriend. Lauren thinks it was her cousin Sarah. I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. Whoever it was, they blew up my life. But maybe that's exactly what needed to happen.